Hi everyone, welcome back to the episode 4 where we are going to be comparing the Innova Hycross in terms of owning a car, renting a car and co-owning a car. Now as you can see these numbers below each of the segments which means that owning a Hycross is going to cost you 20,000 rupees per day and renting a Hycross is going to cost you 12,000 rupees per day and co-owning a Hycross is going to cost you only 2,000 rupees per day. So if you want to understand how we came up with these calculations, then watch the video further. Before we get into the explanation of the calculations, I'm going to introduce ourselves to you. We are the world's first fractional car ownership platform where you can co-own premium luxury and off-roading cars with nearby residents for your leisure and lifestyle purposes. We were established in 2022 and also got featured in Shark Tank Season 3 in 2024 and also got funded by Anupam Mittal and Piyush Bansal. Now, the first segment is owning a car. Before we get into the calculation part of it, we make a certain set of assumptions so that the calculation ahead becomes easier. So in this case, we have 5 assumptions. The first one being that this calculation is based on a 5-year timeline, which means that you will be using this car for a period of 5 years and then selling it further. The second assumption is that you already have an existing car, which means you already have a primary car for your daily commute, and this is your second or your third car. And now the third assumption is based off on the second assumption that your requirement for the car is maximum 90 days in a year, which means roughly 3 months in a year for a period of 5 years. And your fourth assumption is that the resale value after 5 years is approximately 50% of the on road price of the cars, which means after 5 years, when you resell the car, you're going to be getting 50% of the car price back. And your fifth assumption is that this calculation is based on the ZXO hybrid 7-seater model. Now let's get into the calculation bit of it. The ex-showroom price of the Innova Hycross is 30 lakh rupees and your insurance is 1 lakh 40,000 rupees and your registration charges are 3 lakh rupees. Now registration charges differ for each city depending on your state registration charges. In this case, we've taken Delhi to be the example. Now your accessories and additional packages cost about 1 lakh rupees and your other charges like your TCS and transportation charges roughly amount up to 33,000 rupees. Now, when you add the following, which is your ex showroom price plus your insurance plus registration plus accessories plus other charges, you get a total on road price of 36 lakh rupees. Now, as I had mentioned earlier, that you're going to be using the car for a period of 5 years. Let's say you take a loan for 5 years, and now your down payment is 20% of the on road price of the car, which means 20% of 36 lakhs becomes 7 lakh rupees, and your remaining loan amount becomes 29 lakh rupees. Now, since you've taken a loan for 5 years, and let's assume the rate of interest is 8.8%, your total loan repayment amount becomes 36 lakh rupees and your parking costs are roughly 2000 rupees per month. But if you do this for a recurring period of 5 years, you're going to be paying 1 lakh 20,000 and your maintenance and remaining insurance for a period of 5 years becomes 10% of the on road price of the car. So 10% of 36 lakhs is 3 lakh 60,000. Now when you add all the costs, which is your down payment plus loan repayment plus parking plus maintenance and remaining insurance, you get a total cost of 48 lakh rupees. Now, what we're going to be doing next is calculating the resale value. As I had mentioned earlier, that the resale value is 50% of the on-road price of the car, which is 18 lakh rupees. Now, in order to get your net cost after resale, you're going to be subtracting 18 lakhs from 48 lakhs, which gives you a total of 30 lakh rupees. Now, to calculate your cost per day, we're going to be looking at 3 different usage scenarios. The first one being that you're going to be using the car for 30 days in a year. As I'd mentioned earlier, that this is not your primary car and this is your secondary car, which means you're going to be using it occasionally. So if you use it for 30 days per year for a period of 5 years, 150 days, your cost per day becomes 30 lakh rupees divided by 150 days, which gives you 20,000 rupees per day. Now let's look at the second scenario, which is 60 days per year. Over a period of 5 years, you use it for 300 days and your cost per day becomes 30 lakhs divided by 300 gives you 10,000 rupees. Now the third scenario, which is your maximum requirement, 3 months in a year, 90 days a year, for a period of 5 years, 450 days, 30 lakhs divided by 450 days gives you a total of 6,500 rupees per day. So owning a car is only beneficial for you if your usage is more than 30, 60, 90 days in a year. Your usage should be at least 250 to 300 days in a year so that you can use it efficiently. Now let's look at the second scenario, which is renting a car. Again, we have a certain set of assumptions before we get into the calculation bit. The first assumption is that the calculation is based on a 5-year timeline, which means you're going to be renting the car often. The second assumption is that we're assuming that a car worth 30 to 40 lakhs, the rent of it is going to be around 12,000 rupees for a 24-hour cycle, which means if you rent the car today from 8 a.m., you return it tomorrow 8 a.m. The third assumption is that your requirement for the car in a year again is maximum 90 days in a year. And your fourth assumption is that you get this car without a driver and without fuel. Now, as we've already established that the daily rent for the Innova Hycross is 12,000 rupees per day, and your maintenance is going to be nil in this case, your insurance is going to be nil in this case, and your parking costs are also going to be nil. So now let's look at the three usage scenarios. Let's say you use the car for 30 days in a year, for a period of 5 years, 150 days, and your cost per day is 12,000 rupees. So your total rent paid after a period of 5 years is going to be 18 lakh rupees. The second scenario is 60 days per year, 300 days in 5 years, and cost per day is 12,000 rupees. You're going to be paying 36 lakh rupees, which is the on-road price of the car. Now, your third usage scenario is 90 days per year, for a period of 5 years, 450 days. Your cost per day is 12,000 rupees, and your total rent paid is 54 lakh rupees, which is more than the on-road price of the car. So renting an Innova Hycross is only beneficial for you if your usage is maximum 4 to 5 days in a year, where you only have one occasion or one wedding or one vacation which does not exceed 4 to 5 days. Then renting an Innova Hycross is beneficial for you. Now let's look at the third scenario, which is co-owning a car. We again have a certain set of assumptions. The first assumption being that this calculation is based on a 5-year timeline. Second one, that you already have an existing car, which means this is not your primary car and you're going to be using this car only occasionally. Your third assumption is based off on the second assumption, that your requirement for the car is maximum 90 days in a year. Your fourth assumption is that the resale value after 5 years is going to be 50% of the on-road price of the car. Your fifth assumption is that this calculation is based on the ZXO hybrid 7-seater model. Now let's get into the calculation bit of it. So as we've already established the on-road price of the car, which is 36 lakh rupees. Now what we do next is we divide one car into 12 tickets of ownership, like 12 months in a year, where one ticket gives you 30 days of ownership for a period of 5 years. And after the period of 5 years, we resell the car through a bidding process where you can bid, your friends can bid, dealers can bid, vendors can bid, and whatever is the maximum bid price, the car is resold on that, and the remaining resale value is given back to the co-owner. So now in this case, your price per ticket becomes 36 lakhs divided by 12 tickets, which gives you 3 lakh rupees. Now apart from this, we provide three services. The first one being your periodic service and maintenance. The second one being your insurance policy, which is bumper to bumper. So if anything goes wrong, minor accidents, dents, scratches, then we take care of it. The third one is your driver pick and drop service, which means every time you reserve the car in the app, a driver comes to your doorstep, gives you the keys, and gives the car to you full tank, and you have to return it full tank. So we do this at an annual maintenance charge of 30,000 rupees. Now, if you do this for a period of 5 years, you're going to be paying 30,000 into 5, which gives you a total of 1,50,000. Now, the resale value after 5 years is 50% of the ticket size. So 50% of 3 lakhs is 1,50,000. So your net cost after resale becomes 1,50,000 of the ticket size plus 1,50,000 of the AMC, which gives you a total of 3 lakh rupees. So now let's look at the three usage scenarios in order to calculate your cost per day. So the first usage scenario is 30 days per year for a period of 5 years, 150 days. Your co-ownership price is 3 lakh rupees. So 3 lakhs divided by 150 days gives you a total of 2,000 rupees as your cost per day. The second scenario is 60 days per year. Over a period of 5 years, it becomes 300 days, and your co-ownership price becomes double. 3 lakhs plus 3 lakhs, 6 lakhs. 6 lakhs divided by 300 days gives you a total of 2,000 rupees per day. Your third scenario, which is 90 days per year, your maximum requirement, your co-ownership price becomes 9 lakh rupees. 9 lakh rupees divided by 450 days gives you a total of 2,000 rupees per day. So to sum it all up, if you're going to be owning a Hycross, you're going to be paying 20,000 rupees per day. If you're going to be renting a Hycross, you're going to be paying 12,000 rupees per day. And if you're going to be co-owning a Hycross, you're going to be paying 2,000 rupees per day. Now, all of this depends entirely on your usage. Owning a car will only be beneficial for you if your usage is more than 300 days in a year. Renting, on the other hand, will be only beneficial for you if you have only one vacation to attend to, or one wedding, or one business meeting to go to, which will not exceed 5 to 10 days of usage. And co owning a car will be beneficial for you if you already have an existing car for your daily commute and you want a second car for various reasons. Let's say you're an NRI and you visit India often and you need a car in that specific city, or you're a professional, a doctor, engineer, lawyer that has a reputation to maintain when they go to meet their clients, or you simply have multiple vacations and weddings in a year, then co owning a car is super, super, super affordable and will be your best choice. So, what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be dropping our website's link, proratacar.com, in the caption below. You can go and check out the prices for multiple cars, not just the high cross. We have a Defender rolling out in 2025, a Mini Cooper, XUV, Thar Rocks, Fortuner, and many other cars like that. So, go check out their prices, understand how the model works, and take an informed decision this 2025. Thank you. That's about it.